welcome back to Death Toll Racing. Tonight we're going to get our seats installed, we're going to paint some stuff, we're going to do a little bit of trimming on our doghouse, we're going to install the power steering box back in the car and the brace back in the car. We're going to put the master cylinder on. I end up having to make a spacer for that. We're going to put the engine back in the car, the LT5, hopefully for the last time, and we're going to install our Holley oil pan. Okay, and to start off with, we're going to be mounting the seats now, and so I just need to get a measurement. So I'm going to put the seat in and just get it adjusted however you can, just so it's sitting right how you'd want it, no matter how you got to do it. I just have boards and a hammer and everything else it's sitting on, but we just need some measurements. So do that, then just measure from the feet down to the floor at the longest point, and then write those numbers down. Okay, here's what I came up with, the way I have it set. Both my front feet are 1/4 inch away. My back left is 1.5 inches. My back right is 3/4. So now we're just going to add a 1/2 inch to all of those. So 3/4, 3/4, 2 inch, and 1 1/4. So now all we have to, now we're going to cut our pipe that we're going to make, that we're going to use. We're going to cut our pipe to those lengths, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so there's my tubes cut. That is 1 inch Schedule 40 tube. That seems to be about the best tube size for doing this. I'm using 1/2 inch bolts. I'm going to weld, so we're going to be welding it. You could either just weld the washer to the top, or you can weld your nut to the washer and then weld the washer to the top, which is what I'm doing. That just allows you to do it yourself, by yourself, putting the seats in so you don't have to hold the nut under the car while you tighten from the top of the car. So I'm going to do it that way, so here we go. Okay, so here I am, welding them up. I MIG welded the first one, and I didn't really like how it turned out because there really wasn't much of a weld prep area on that thing. So then I ground it down and I ended up TIG welding them all. You can do it either way. You really can't see those things when they're installed, but it is nice to have them pretty smooth and TIG welded. While I'm waiting for them to cool off, I installed the pulley, or the pulley onto the power steering pump and got the belt on, so that thing is ready to go for later. Okay, so now you just bolt the tubes to the seats that you made. Get the seat positioned exactly the way you had it before, so that you can mark where those tubes land on the floor. And you're going to have to make sure it's level and stuff at that stage. So you're going to have to rig it up again so it's level. Just try to make it so the seat goes straight up from where you need it. Then go ahead and hole saw out where you marked. And once you get that done, set the seat through the holes. It should fit right through if you did a good job having the seat level. And then clean up the paint, obviously, around where you're going to have to do some welding. And now you're going to actually want to level your car out, or just have a really good eyeball, but get the seat exactly where you want it, and tack it in. Remember, you're supposed to be sticking through the floor 1/2 inch to get it to your height that you wanted. And just tack it up, give it a good old test seat. One tack sadly holds them really rigidly, but we're gonna fully weld them. We just want to make sure that everything feels right while you can sit in it. Then just tack it up real good so it doesn't move around when you weld it. Take the seat out, weld her up, and you're done, and we'll move on. Alright, now we're heating that area on the frame that we wanted to bend out for the coilover. Just getting everything ready so we can throw some paint on some things. And then we pulled all the staples out of the fenders that was holding the rubber on. Really funny that they stapled that. And then just cleaning stuff up and moving on so we can get ready to get some paint on it. Alright, first thing, we need to make a notch where the transfer case was a little too close to our cutout. So I'm just going to make a notch, oversized front to back, just kind of evenly. I marked where it was interfering, or where it was close to interfering. It actually didn't interfere, but it was too close for comfort. So made a notch, made a plate, welded it up, and then just kind of grind it up, clean it up, and move on. Now I'm just cleaning up other areas, and now we're painting. Fun stuff. So I'm using Well, I use brake cleaner, clean everything first, and then of course I had to grind and everything and get all the BBs off, and for as much as I could. We're not making a show car here, but trying to make it look, I don't want to cut too many corners. So I'm using gloss Rust-Oleum Industrial first, and then following it with the flat. And the gloss seems to protect against rust a little better than just going straight to metal with the flat paint. So I'm doing gloss first. That's why everything is so shiny, and then I come back and I spray it again, and it almost immediately flattens up in time lapse. So you'll notice how the floor pans are like flat black too. That was actually 3M undercoating. Really, really good stuff. It dries. It's almost like truck bed liner as far as how tough it is, and it sprays right over existing undercoating really well. It works really good. It does not go very far. Like, you buy these quart jugs and they don't go as far as they say, or either that or I just apply it way too thick. I don't know, one of the two. But either way, that's what the floor is, the flat black, and then I just touch up areas that are still undercoated okay but don't look that good. I just spray the flat black over them, and it actually matches like new undercoating. So it looks good enough, especially for what we're going on. At some point later down the road, I do believe we will pull the body off this and have it completely stripped, and we'll actually restore the car. But that's years down the road. So we're going to enjoy it the way it is for now, and we're just going to make it look as good as we can without doing a full resto on it. And here I got the steering box on and the master cylinder on. I ended up had to make a spacer because the push rod, something you always want to look for when you're doing installs like that. The push rod was a little bit too long, about 3/8 of an inch too long. So I made a spacer out of another master cylinder. I cut it, and then I took it on my little mini lathe and machined it down so that it would work out just right. All right, so we are going to do the oil pan now on our LT motor. So this is L83, so it's a Gen 5, which is a different oil pan. We got the Holley conversion pan here. Came directly from China. I don't know actually where it came from. I'm assuming it's made in China, probably. So unboxing it, we got a windage tray, it appears. Nope, there's the windage tray. I'm not sure what that is. Probably an extra part of a windage tray or something. I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with these things. So we got a whole bunch of directions and ports and adapters and everything else. And then we got the pan itself. Pretty nice looking pan, actually. It looks really, really nice. It's definitely going to do what we need it to do. Well, I shouldn't say that. It appears that it's going to do what we need it to do. It has a big tag on it saying that you need to run a brush through the oil port, the pickup port right here. And so we'll make sure we do that. I'm not sure why they don't do that in the factory, but apparently debris likes to probably accumulate in there when they mill it, and then they don't check it. So they're just kind of covering their butts on that one. And I think that's it. Nope, there's more. And we have another box. Let's see what this box has. This box does not weigh very much. Oh, of course, the oil pickup tube, the pump pickup. I guess that would have been missing, wouldn't it? All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and put it on, and we'll see what we run into. As far as I can tell, other than I have to drop the car down real quick so I can take the dipstick out. As far as I can tell, the only thing we need is a 13 and a 10. gonna get squished. Come here. Come on. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, add a Torx to the arsenal of tools you'll need for doing this. So now we're up to three tools. Bob wants to come check it out. He doesn't trust that it's that simple. It's just a Torx, dude. It's gonna be up for a while. As far as I can tell, there's just two 10s in the back. We go up, and the rest are 13s. And those covers are 10s as well. I'll just go ahead and take the two rears out now. So far, all those bolts are the same. Now I believe it's just a battle of the glues. There it goes. We got it. There's a lot more oil in that than I was expecting. Alright, so first thing that goes on is this baffle plate. Don't worry, this nice elaborate shape here, you can still get the pickup through. Akila would really enjoy that shape. It's too bad she's not here helping us. Dot of Loctite on these. Oop, not that much Loctite. You don't need that much. It's not going to hurt anything, but it definitely isn't necessary. Next is we do put that tube through our nicely shaped hole. And I believe there's a gasket that's going to go on there. So we have to find that. Here it is. So there, bolt does not go there. That's actually milled shorter so that it gets tightened down with the windage tray. So you just have to make sure it's in line, which it is. And then we're going to go ahead and just torque it right there. It says to, I'm not really actually sure what it means, but it's saying to lift on it while you tighten the bolts. But obviously it needs to be right there. I think what it's meaning is rotating it this way just so that it's not bottomed out against the pan, which it isn't. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get these somewhat snug. I'll just keep pressure on it like they say, so just in case. Okay, I gotta turn our guy back on. Okay. There we go. So remember, that's the one with the bracket on it. You got to remember to use that longer bolt. We'll just put that one in now. Okay, so we are not utilizing the return oil port, which is here. One thing that's disturbing that I don't like right now is they did not break the tab off on their helicoil, and I believe this is going to bottom out on it. So now we get to do their job for them. I wish I would have noticed that before without dropping it in there. Okay, so that's what should happen. That's what they should have done when they put it in. The factory puts a crimp in it right there so that it has a weak spot so that it'll break off. And they're supposed to do that when they install it, and they did not. All right, and that's where this gasket comes in. There we go. And then they give you a block-off plate. Just like the one we just bought. We're going to go 9 foot-pounds. I'm going to get them close first. That is not very tight. My instinct would say to go tighter, but that's what they're telling you, so. Okay, so now we need the oil filter. So, and that is just this barb, and they look like they put some sort of a thread sealer on it already. They want you to tighten this to 40 foot-pounds. Okay, that is that. So now we just have to flip it, put our O-rings in, which are pretty self-explanatory. These don't appear to have a top or a bottom. This one appears to have a top. And that's it. Now we have to clean up the engine and get it ready, and then we'll put a bead of gasket maker around it and put it on. Was that necessary? Probably not. But even torquing and maybe water getting in there and rusting the screw, and that'll just keep that from happening. So that's why I decided to just go ahead and do it. It is outside the oil passages and stuff though, so it probably would have been fine without doing that. But I did it anyway. I don't regret it yet. But I may. You never know. So they don't give you the bolts to put it back on, so you have to reuse your old hardware there. So I am going to set it up there. You have 2 dowels. We'll just get those 2 dowels in there, and then a few of these bolts, the alignment tubes actually came out with them. So I'm actually going to use these strategically on the other side. So I'm going to put them about halfway down. We could pull out a few of the others and get those in. In fact, I'm going to put them on a few of the screws. I'm going to take out as many of them as I can, and then we'll strategically place the ones we got out on some screws. And that just keeps the oil pan centered. Not that you really have much of a choice once those 2 dowels are in, but it'll help, so it won't hurt. So I'm going to get those. I'm going to get them set up on the bolts just like that, and then we're going to throw the pan on. All right, the other nice part about having those is it actually holds the screws. So if you put them on there, push the screw in, get those in the hole, see how it holds it? It's just quite convenient if you're doing this by yourself. Okay, so remember you got the dowels on the other side that go in the holes without threads. There they go. Okay, so they actually have a torque sequence to these things. So it's 18 foot-pounds is what you're going to with the big ones, and then 9 foot-pounds or 106 inch-pounds to those back 2 long ones. Okay. All right, so far so good on this thing. Stick with us. Turbo 350 will be going in it later this week. That's going to be a kind of a fun one. We're going to manual valve body swap it. We got to take it out of a little drag truck. It's new. It's never been run, but it has been sitting around for just a little while, about 22 years. So hopefully everything checks out on it when we look at it, and we'll get it in. Stay tuned. F350 is getting a cam swap and Chevy big block Chevy conversion onto the valve train. This is a DOVE conversion to big block Chevy valve train. So if you're interested in that, it'll allow for screw-in studs, adjustable rockers, and then we're going to put a roller tip rocker on it. We're also going to change all the valve springs out in rig. So stay tuned for that. We will see you then.